I think that the life goes in a procedural way. So you make one decision and then it leads to another.
Because a lot of people tell you, oh yeah, you are the jack of all trades, master of none. But then at the same time, actually, you are needed as a generalist in certain fields.
Because the university appreciates that the lecturers actually have some so-called clinical experience. So experience with actual customers and experience with actual software production process. For the capstone course, we require tasks for companies. But it's important to notice that university business collaboration is not only technology transfer, it's also participation in different levels.
Let's say I'm a researcher, part of the university already, and I decide to take my innovation from an idea to something that's actually tangible.
One of the interesting things in my job is to evaluate these ideas and think about that could we do something for them.
The way you presented it is so simple, yet quite profound. What is your story? Kaapo, Seppälä.
Hello, Tarek.
Nice to have you here with us today.
Thank you for the invitation. This is the studio. I'm really happy about being this kind of in a modern studio environment.
I'm happy to hear. It's very lovely to have somebody who's a modern man. And we're going to find out about that in a minute. But I want to start off by asking you, what is your story?
Well, my story from professional point of view, it's basically something that I started in 20 years ago. After my graduation from the business school, I went to work for the university. And I have worked in many departments in the University of Turku and then the Turku Business School, which used to be an independent university before the merger a few years ago. And at the same time, I felt that I could do something else as well. So I entered into a consulting company, which was operating in Helsinki. And then I was trying to maybe utilize some of the learnings from the academia there in the consulting sector, and then vice versa as well.
So a bit of here and a bit of there.
Yeah.
It's nice that you're combining all your experiences together.
Well, I'm trying to utilize them. Then I think that it will save resources if you are trying to utilize from some other area of life. And after working for university for more than 10 years, then I became affiliated with our spin-off company. So now I'm mostly doing the academia and then the so-called startup stuff.
So-called startup stuff. I love the sound of that. We're going to get a bit into that in a jiffy. I wanted to ask you, what is the story that makes you the person that you are today?
Well, that's kind of hard to answer. I think that the life goes in a procedural way. So you make one decision and then it leads to another. And the point is that the initial decisions, they might be really random. So I just decided to apply a workplace in a university, and that opened up all the remaining choices. So of course it's possible also to go back, but to answer your question, it's just a series of independent decisions that follow procedurally. So maybe I have been affiliated in many different projects from different domains, ranging from maritime business to embedded electronics. So I'm a little bit this and that. Maybe I have some areas I know a little bit more about, but some of them are just like I know something about. And usually that takes you already quite far in consultation business, for example.
Oh, 100%.
If you just know something, and then you can find sources and find right people.
That's a good part, because a lot of people tell you, oh yeah, you are the jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah. But then at the same time, actually, you are needed as a generalist in certain fields.
Yeah, and especially if you run into situations that you cannot prepare. It's very seldomly happens that even if you are prepared in one topic,
yes,
you might encounter some other topic, and then it gets you that you haven't been prepared, and then it leads you to troublesome situations. But if you are prepared of probably almost everything, then you can survive in these situations.
Absolutely. It seems like the hats that you're wearing, or you've been wearing for a very long time, also continued with your role in the University of Turku and your role in your startup.
Well, possibly yes, because I think that this is when I'm working, I'm representing our sales function in our company. So it means that I am the one who sees the customers for the first time, and their problems I'm expected to solve. They range from the scale of their problems can be really wide. Somebody is interested in learning, and somebody else is interested in how to manage a maintenance process. So they always have some common denominators. But if you know only one angle, then you might be in trouble in these kind of situations. Of course, it depends what you're selling.
Of course. But how do you then balance both roles? And how do you kind of like manage the role in a startup and then manage the role in the university?
That's a good question. And I ask that myself very often. I think that the perfect balance is that you utilize your learning from the academia in your startup stuff, and then vice versa. Because the university appreciates that the lecturers actually have some so-called clinical experience. So experience with actual customers and experience with actual software production process. This is, of course, from my study area. So the benefits are clear, but then it's maybe a little bit more difficult to arrange the time. There are many ways to organize that. I'm just doing a little bit more hours than normal 160 hours per month. But many of my colleagues who are affiliated with companies, they split their working hours like 50-50 or 80-20 or something like that. So I think it a little bit depends on the individual what is optimal. But for me, it's my choice is just to make a little bit more hours.
Okay. To give us a little bit more context, what would you say like the hours that you're spending here and there? So we know now that it's sales in the company. How about in the university? What would you be doing mostly?
Well, I'm lecturing. So I would say that 60 to 70% of my work is lecturing. We are having a capstone software engineering capstone course, which will be 2 times per year. So it starts in the period 1 and period 3. And then I'm affiliated with another course called Lean Digital Startup. I don't remember the course codes, but they can be found from the Peppi.
Right.
And that takes a lot of my time. Then I'm also teaching in a mixed reality course, which is held by my colleague Teijo Lehtonen, who is also the CEO of our company. So mostly I'm teaching, and the rest of the time will be preparing and ideating new projects. So somebody has to come with the idea of new research projects, of course, and I'm participating in that kind of process to maybe to bring some ideas that maybe we could do this and maybe we could do that.
That is beautiful. You have a handful, like, or a plateful, or
Well, I'm contributing a little bit here and a little bit there.
a little bit.
But it's always in collaboration with other colleagues. So we are doing a lot of stuff together.
I got you. Speaking of collaboration, can you tell me a little bit more of how you do collaborations between university and startups?
That's one of my favorite topics, actually. The university business collaboration is more, it's a myriad of different methods to collaborate. And many companies in this area think that this is only open for large companies. Like the university have strategic partners, which are very important players in this region. But the collaboration is not only for these big companies. We are doing a lot of stuff with small companies and SMEs as well. So I would say that there are certain categories. So if we start from bottom to top, so the easiest way is to have someone to make a master's thesis for you. So you can hire this person, or then you can maybe make some kind of arrangement that this person does it for free, but then it usually leads to employment. But that's a very traditional way of doing collaboration. So there's one individual or maybe two, and they're doing their theses for a company. So this is what I did. I did my master's thesis for a port it was a pricing system for a port. And they actually paid me a small sum of money out of that. But this is something that nowadays you could do with AI really easily. But back then it was different. So this is the first level. And second level is participation in courses. For the capstone course, we require tasks for companies. So in the capstone course, there's a group of students who is trying to figure out a solution for a challenge. And these challenges, they come from companies of all sizes.
All sizes.
All sizes. Also startups, SMEs, and big companies. One of the biggest workloads for me, considering that particular course, is to get those challenges from the companies of this region. And that's that's not very uncommon method. These capstone projects, they are here in Åbo Academy, and they're also in the universities of applied sciences. So there are many of them. So I could say there is a lot of possibilities for companies to operate on this particular level. And then when we go further up, then there is a possibility to collaborate in a research project. And now we get to the world of EU projects and domestically funded projects like Business Finland. And there are possibilities for companies to participate in different ways to these projects. And then the top level could be like sponsoring professorships or making like major contributions or maybe hiring a complete laboratory where something is made, or purchasing IPR. Universities also owning IPR like patents, and the university TTO is very skilled, and there are very skilled people, and they are specialized in curating that IPR portfolio and also selling and licensing it. So the TTO is maybe the most classical element of technology transfer. But it's important to notice that the university business collaboration is not only technology transfer, it's also participation in different levels.
It's also participation in different levels.
Yes. So it's not only IPR, it's also like providing these capstone challenges and maybe asking someone to make a master's thesis, for example. So there are many ways, and I believe that small companies, startups, and SMEs, they can also contribute into this.
They can also contribute.
Yes, absolutely.
In what way? Like, do they come to you and they present?
Well, you asked how they contact the university. That's a good question. In my work, I'm usually the one who tries to contact the companies and then who tries to tell the public that we have these alternatives, we have capstones, we have this and that courses. So then I'm wishing that they would contact me. But the university has also university business contact persons, and they can be found from the department's websites and social media, and they are always waiting for contacts, and they are very active in contacting companies. So there are many channels.
It sounds like it.
So I believe that it's not hard to find a channel. And then if a company is interested in IPRs, and then they contact the Technology Transfer Office, which is the TTO.
All right. Speaking of the Technology Transfer Office, can you tell me some of the services that they actually provide?
Well, I'm a little bit of wrong person to comment about their service because their service portfolio is really wide.
Okay.
But what they are doing is that they serve both inside the university. So certain research groups, when they are thinking that they might have an invention on their hand, they contact the TTO, and the TTO helps them to recognize that is it an invention and could it be commercialized, etc. And then the university has also some responsibilities that come from the law when the university can have the possibility to take part of the invention. And then if they do that, they add the invention into their portfolio, and then they're trying to kind of proceed with it. So they have a large large catalog of services, and they can be they present them in their web page.
Okay. Sounds very clear. And then if I could understand maybe the flow, because now we understand the levels of collaboration and we understand what we can do and the different possibilities. One thing that comes to mind is if I am let's say I'm a researcher, part of the university already, and I decide to take my innovation from an idea to something that's actually tangible. And I'm now forming my startup and I'm still in the beginning. Of course, I need to have some help and support and different brains to think with me. So would it be a bad idea for me to go to a capstone, like to participate, or am I too early for that?
Actually, I think that the capstone is perfect for the challenges that are open-ended and ill-defined. And this means that something which is on a really early phase. So let's say I will give you an artificial example. So let's say that you have some kind of data, and it's produced by machines that are equipped with your sensors. Let's say something like that. And then you are interested to know that could there be some kind of AI tool that would bring some light to this massive amount of data. And this is your problem. You cannot define that any further. It's open-ended. You don't know what tools there might be. You just want to know something about life.
Right.
That's the perfect place for going to capstone, because then you come to the course, in the course opening, and you give a pitch of your challenge. And then our task is to match the pitches or the challenges and the groups of students. No one is going to force to do any individual challenge, but if some students are excited about it, then we will form a group and they start working with that. And if you would be the researcher that brings the idea, they would treat you as a customer, because we teach also how to deal with customer.
How to consult, how to make the reports.
And then I would not be present in the meetings. It would be just you and my students. So this is how and then we are having separate sessions with students where we tell about that how you should keep in contact with your customer. So this is how it goes. And of course, with open-ended and ill-defined challenges, you seldomly have like a perfect prototype or MVP or something that comes. It's a course or a rough prototype of something which is made out of your challenge, but usually it helps you to proceed.
Would I need to pay something for that?
No.
Wow.
For the university is a public institution, so our teaching is publicly funded. So that's why we don't have any need for gathering payments for the companies. But what we do is that we will evaluate each challenge and evaluate their suitability. If the challenge is not like suitable for us, maybe it does not fill our pedagogical needs, or then it's like something that we expect that it's too hard or it's too easy, or it's something that the students don't have tools to start working with it, then we just need to exclude that challenge from the course. But on the other hand, I'm welcoming all the ideas, because one of the interesting things in my job is to evaluate these ideas and think about that could we do something for them.
That's beautiful. It's a beautiful mindset, and it's also nice to know that we have these golden support systems that are available for researchers to use and future innovators and entrepreneurs to actually.
Yeah, there are lots of these, and there are really clever people in the university administration that want to provide this support. Sometimes it just feels that this message does not reach, especially the smaller companies.
Yeah.
But I believe that the market is changing in this kind of way. So the university is now very active in social media, and there are people specialized in communicating in social media. So I believe that this MOOC might be one very good channel for this kind of message.
Absolutely, it is. Thank you for the advert. So then I want to ask you if it comes to basically balancing those multiple roles that you spoke about earlier. It seems like, it's life goes ups and downs, and there's a lot of things that are happening to us. And here you are presenting a new paradigm where you're like, you know what, let's not focus and specialize because, coming as a background, I was doing my PhD. Now you're telling me that I could do multiple things at the same time. So how do I manage this oscillations that I go through life?
Oh yeah, I mentioned about oscillations somewhere before. I think I was lecturing somewhere, and I developed this oscillation example. I think that it's a good thing to have many things going on in your life at the same time. And it's because it balances your feelings and it balances your sentimental life. Let's say if you are working in an academia, you're writing articles. So, and your feelings and your feelings of success go up and down. So you might have a scientific breakthrough, and then your article is not accepted. Then you make another article and that might be accepted. So it oscillates.
Yes.
And then you have the same oscillation in your private life. You have like tens of different oscillations. Am I feeling well? Am I feeling unwell? Do I have a headache or something like that? It can be like really everyday phenomenon. How is what are my feelings? How does my favorite sports team at the moment? Now it wins, now it loses, and it loses again, and so on. So when you overlap these oscillations, I think that happiness is a feeling when few of these oscillations overlap on the high peak. So at the same time, your favorite team is doing great. You just got your article accepted, and everything is going well with your partner. And then, you have a great feeling. And then when something is going like downwards, and if you have many things at the same time that hit the bottom, you might feel stressed or you might have feelings of anxiety.
Of course.
So I mentioned balancing. So balancing is that if you bring more of these oscillations, if you start a new hobby,
okay,
the hobby might happen to have this kind of feeling of success on the time you require it, when you have many things going down. So it balances your sentimental life. So this is what I'm trying to say, that working in academia and working with startups, trying to find different challenges, even within the academia or even within a certain job or position, it has this kind of balancing effect. Of course, this is not applicable for everyone because some people want to focus on one individual thing. And I think that many important innovations are made for people who are capable of focusing only to one thing. But I think that for large population, this kind of multitasking thing is, although it might sound really stressing, but it might actually have a balancing feature.
It does sound like it does have a balance. Like the way you presented it is so simple, yet quite profound, because the idea of me maybe having a bad day at work, but not so bad at my new hobby. Let's say I'm learning the violin and I can play the piece. I'm sure it's going to get me a little bit, like my work is not going well, my paper just got rejected, but hey.
And this is why people usually suggest to take a hobby. So it means that take another oscillation curve and overlap that with your existing ones. Maybe you will find something. And of course, now I'm assuming that all the things are oscillating.
That's true.
But of course, there are things that are not, but many things are, and you can control what you include to your life.
You remind me of one of our lecturers. He's a very dear friend of mine now. When I was a student back in the days, he would walk into class really bad mood. And we're like, what's up? He's like, I just had a problem with my wife. You just don't talk to me today, The assignment's probably going to be terrible. You guys are probably going to fail, but just don't talk to me today. But then when we would all like pass and get like good grades, we're like, wait, did you have a better time at home? And you'd be like, yeah, I had time.
Yeah, it reflects to the outside world. But it's I think it's very humane.
It is. It is very humane, yes. Yeah, thank you for sharing this. And, we'd like to always put people on the spot because given that we're science pitchers and we love people to pitch. So we'd like to give you a 30-second pitch that you can highlight what is the benefit of student projects for companies in 30 seconds.
Okay. Well, first of all, you can have the access to the young people's minds and their outcomes. So your company has people who have graduated maybe decades ago. So young people usually they have a little bit different kind of approaches. Secondly, it's a place that it's a relatively risk-free environment for the company because it doesn't carry a huge amount of cost, but it provides, even if it's not successful, it provides always some insight to you, and it definitely provides so much good for the students. And then thirdly, very often these actually are successful, and very often it might provide a channel for recruitment. So especially in the area of technology and medical devices and data management, these are extremely unique recruitment possibilities.
These sound like they are. Thank you so much.
Was it 30 seconds?
I think it was like, I think it was. Okay, I haven't really checked the time, but I usually say that to put people on the spot. They're like, but the way you described it is really, I would say, cut to the point.
These are the main points.
Right.
And I think that the company should never hesitate to contact. So, and if you know somebody in the academia, contact this person if it's easier to you. Or then like browse the university third mission website and there is some contact person for everything. I am the contact person for entrepreneurship issues within our faculty. But then there's this Mr. Antti Nuutinen, who is the entrepreneurship ombudsman for the whole university, and he's a really nice guy. And his major job is to answer to these calls. So he's also a very good person to contact, and there are many more.
There are many more. Yeah, absolutely. And I think we have beautiful pages online. They have always the updated.
Yeah, they are developing this internet presence all the time. So I think that every time I open their pages, they are better and better. So and also remember to follow the university social media sites. So it's active in LinkedIn and Facebook and what do you got there? I think that they even have a page in Blue Sky nowadays.
Blue Sky?
Yeah, I think they have.
I have no idea what Blue Sky is.
Well, it's something that it was a little bit like Twitter, but now it like emerged to challenge Twitter. Their user rate has been raising. I have not signed in Blue Sky yet. I'm not so super keen user of social media, but I know about Blue Sky, and I think it's good to have these which exist in parallel. So you can a little bit oscillate. Yeah, this is oscillating as well. So let's see. Some of the Twitter users emigrated to Blue Sky.
Okay, got you. Well, thank you so much, Kaapo, for this. This was beautiful, and you enlightened us on where to look and how to look at different ways of collaborating. Whether we're from the lab coming out to the world, but it's not only about going to investors. It's not only about finding some mentors in the business world, but you can actually find them even within your.
Yeah, I try to cover this area, which is often in the shadows. So of course we have the most visible collaboration, which is something that you read from the newspapers. But this area is open also for the small companies and even for individuals that have ideas.
Gotcha. Thank you. It was a pleasure to have you. Thank you, Kaapo.